Thank you, Christian, and good morning, everyone. My name is David Daigle. I'm CEO of a company by the name of American Dark Fiber, and we are a local telecommunications development company. I'd like to welcome all of you, particularly the COG membership and the constituents and all of those here today listening that are interested in the well-being for those that live and work here in the South Bay. You may have heard a fair amount about the South Bay Fiber Network. We call it a network of opportunity, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about it. Before I do so, what I'd like to do is just frame this discussion around some questions. And those questions are very apropos relative to why the South Bay Fiber Network was developed in the first place. So let me just pose a few of them. First, let me ask you, what do you think could happen if the transportation systems in the South Bay flowed more efficiently on a day-to-day basis? Or what could happen if we could directly impact the rate and depth of educational accomplishment in the South Bay? What may happen if we were able to bridge the digital divide to those that need it the most? What would happen to their lives? Likewise, what could happen if economic development was vastly improved or increased throughout the South Bay region? Think about those questions as I go through my presentation. First and foremost, I like to start with showing people what the South Bay Fiber Network is. And often a map is the best way to do that. On the screen, you see some blue lines, and we call that a ring, believe it or not, in the telecommunications world. And basically what that is a very resilient, continuous fiber optic network that touches every city in the South Bay City's Council of Governments region. Every city hall has a fiber optic connection that's a part of the South Bay Fiber Network. There are many other locations that are also connected to this network. And I'll get into the details of this in just a few minutes. But more importantly, I want you to see what it looks like. And at the top of that screen, I hope you can see it on the screen, we've got two nodes that are highlighted in yellow. These are two world-class data centers that play a very important role in the functionality of the South Bay Fiber Network. So with that, I'll move into some of the more tactical elements of the reason why the network was created and what we think some of the benefits of it not only are today, but they can be in the future. One of the primary goals up front was to create a community of interest or some intersections of the community throughout the region. One of the challenges many cities have is that they become an island. And when you deal with telecommunication networks, they're very expensive to deploy. And I'll touch on that in a few minutes. But a city acting on its own doesn't have as many choices as those that band together, like the South Bay City's Council of Governments did and created the SBFN. So in this case, we've got city halls, parks, and public works departments all interconnected to the South Bay Fiber Network. That allows very high-speed transport and internet connections to flow to these facilities. Likewise, regional government agencies and other NGOs are interconnected to the network. Likewise, anchor institutions, schools, hospitals, libraries can be plugged into the South Bay Fiber Network. Another very important element when you talk about high-speed capacity needs. Likewise, core constituents, residential communities, and commercial corridors that have lacking broadband capacity can benefit directly by having more available and cost-effective bandwidth delivered to their doorstep. And last, I mentioned some data centers. These are somewhat of the glue that interconnects and intersects all of these elements. And it does so by just the sheer fact that the South Bay Fiber Network exists. And at Tier 1 data centers, and there are two of them connected to the South Bay Fiber Network, one in El Segundo at the Equinix Data Center, and the other in Hawthorne at the Evoke Data Center. These are locations where there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of digital applications and service applications, cloud-based applications that are available in a wholesale manner to anyone that's connected to those data centers. And today, by virtue of the South Bay Fiber Network, the South Bay is. And by the direct connection to cabinets that my company installed, those facilities, those capabilities can be readily transported across the South Bay fiber network to where they are needed most in the South Bay. So these points of interconnection are very important. The primary reason behind those, for us anyway, really is a simple thing. We wanted to bring more broadband to more places to benefit more people. And to do that, we had to satisfy not just today's needs, but we had to have a future-proofed network, one that allows for much, much more bandwidth to be created and used and consumed over time, really over the next 20, 30, 40 years on this network. And that's what the South Bay network is. It's a future-proof network, purpose-built for community benefit. So let's talk about some of those benefits. These are value propositions that come out of the availability of the South Bay fiber network. First and foremost, traffic. Transportation needs are critical. Traffic synchronization, traffic control management. These are elements that are at the top of the list. People coming and going from work. When there's power outages or traffic accidents that clog the highways and byways, having managed traffic flow management systems that can be adapted on the fly and distributed throughout the region becomes critically important. And the South Bay fiber network not only is connected to all the cities that have traffic control management systems, but they're connected to Metro's major hubs that manage these regional traffic control systems. And they all fit together. It's a very important element of it. In addition, telemedicine and telehealth capacity is now available in a variety of places throughout the South Bay as a result of the South Bay fiber network. In today's era of COVID, particularly in a distributed, decentralized way, people couldn't go see their doctors. But if they had good broadband, they could do video conferences with their doctors, certain diagnostics, and just, doctors being able to question and have a discussion with their patients allow them to prescribe or at least deal with certain conditions they couldn't otherwise do if they didn't see them. So having available high-speed broadband becomes critically important for telemedicine and telehealth uses. Likewise, in today's mobile society, the wireless aspect cannot be ignored. Whether it's LTE and 4G or 5G type deployments, Wi-Fi applications going on in commercial corridors or in city parks and places like that, or just in having Wi-Fi available in parking lots at schools or, like I said, community centers where kids can do homework after school if they didn't have internet at home. These are the types of things that the South Bay fiber network is well positioned to help with. Moreover, when you talk about smart grid and smart home applications, these things can be done much more efficiently when it's connected to a fiber optic network or a high-speed network that's ultimately connected to the South Bay fiber network. So as adaptations and more devices are used at the home, they can be managed much more efficiently and more bandwidth distributed to these homes to make for a much more efficient, sustainable smart grid environment. And I mentioned earlier about cloud-based services that are available at data centers. These things are growing by leaps and bounds. A business that wants to have, say, Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, or some of those other type of cloud-based services, they are available at the data centers. And by having those distributed in a very, very wholesale and cost-effective manner across the SBFN, they become now affordable to those businesses. Another key, and for me, not to be least at all, is the educational aspect. This is a critical element, something that's very near and dear to us at American Dark Fiber. Education matters. And when we can help improve the educational climate within the South Bay by utilizing the South Bay fiber network, really magical things can happen. And what I mean by that is, let's just take a look at wages. And when you look at the educational disparity and the resulting wage gap that results, it'll jump off the page why the South Bay fiber network can help. First and foremost, we've got any person that, on average, here in the United States, these are national statistics, that does not have a high school diploma and is working full-time, averages about a little over $600 a week in earnings, which is, not a whole lot in today's day and age, particularly here in the South Bay. They have a high school diploma, they move up closer to $800 a month. But those with a bachelor degree average over $1,400, I'm sorry, a week, over $1,400 a week in earnings. That is a massive disparity, and over a 40-year work lifespan can account to over $1.25 million going from a bachelor degree to a high school diploma, and even more than that if you don't have a high school diploma. So improving the educational capabilities throughout the South Bay region creates educational opportunity. It adds to the innovative qualities of the region and helps lift those that are in poverty out so they can truly get their arms around the opportunities that exist that require a solid educational base. So this is a very, very important element of the South Bay Fiber Network. In addition, we talk about economic development. There have been many, many studies done since the birth of the internet, and specifically over the last 20 or 25 years, and more specifically over the last decade. Google, for example, did an exhaustive study that showed empirically that in urban zones where there was broadband distribution that was densely connected the region in very cost-effective prices, there was nearly a 1%, actually more than a 1% improvement in local GDP. When you look at the greater Los Angeles area, that's a significant thing. Greater Los Angeles, GDP on an annual basis exceeds $1 trillion. A 1% improvement on that $1 trillion equates to over $10 billion a year in new wealth creation. That new wealth creation comes in the form of economic investment in businesses, helps an improvement of facilities where education can occur, or an improved healthcare or clinics where more and readily available medical solutions can be distributed throughout society. So this is a very important element, and this is on an annual basis. And there's a big difference for those businesses. For example, the South Bay is no stranger to this. There's been many large entities that have moved out over the last 10 years, citing lack of available broadband, cost-effective broadband is one of the reasons why they moved. So this is a very important element to the South Bay Fiber Network, of which we are able to at least address in a very specific manner. Now, we do have some challenges. It's not a panacea. It takes a lot of community involvement to really extract the benefits of the South Bay Fiber Network. And I list costs at the top of the list here because it costs a lot of money to build these networks. On average, between $100,000 and $200,000 a mile to build a fiber optic network in a place like the South Bay. So by having the South Bay network now in place that was purpose-built, we can shorten the development that's needed so that those costs are actually less than they would otherwise be. The efficiencies on cost of both internet and transport capacity to homes and businesses will be dramatic as more and more connections are made. So that's an important element. In addition, community awareness. We need you to know we exist. This network was purpose-built for the benefit of the South Bay constituent region. And with that in mind, with that in mind, there are things that you need to be aware of that exist and for you to tell us about that you'd like to have. We don't know, for example, if certain specific commercial corridors are truly lacking broadband capacity. If you are, we'd like to know about it. Likewise with neighborhoods. We've seen, for example, the city of Gardena deployed Wi-Fi networks that were a result of the South Bay Fiber Network internet capacity so that students could do their homework after school or in parking lots because they didn't have internet at home. These are very, very important things. Likewise for future uses, IoT, smart driving cars, other types of innovative applications that we don't even know about yet that will happen in many years to come. The South Bay Fiber Network is scalable. And so as these new innovations come to be, the South Bay Network will be prepared to adapt, make use of, and distribute those capacities and the benefits of future needs as they come along. So with that in mind, I'd like you to just think about those questions. And when you look at the South Bay Fiber Network, it's going somewhere. And those STEM jobs are just a small example of what can happen with the availability of high capacity, cost-effective broadband in the South Bay region. And with that, Christian, I'll say thank you for having me. We'd love to address any questions that your audience may have. Feel free to contact me at any time to do so. And thanks for having me here today.